Hey, I'm Kay, just a girl making ridiculously crazy builds in The Sims. Come check them out. This is Lynnewood Hall, Part 2. If you have yet to check out Part 1, you can go do that now, or you can stay here and take a look at all of the floor plans in great detail. I've created a character called Owner in order to purchase the property so we could do a walkthrough. That walkthrough is mainly in video 1. This walkthrough is going to go through, as you can see, all floors of the build. So we're going to start with the third floor. You're going to come down into the servants' quarters. So this is available through access of the servant stairs only. As you can see, I'm circling the glass dome, which is actually in the ante room before you enter the main gallery hall. Now, also the glass above here is enclosed within its own room with artificial lighting to act as natural light. That's how I was able to get this whole build to work properly with designing it. Now on the left side is all servants' rooms, maids, housekeepers, that sort of thing, and washrooms on either end for the staff in that area. And then you're going to come down the hall and there's some storage rooms on the other side, as well as the area back here I've left where you could access it if you needed to. Technically, you could access the entire rest of the attic space from here. I just did not include that in this build because it was unnecessary for the build itself. Now on the right side, you can see there's an area for a sitting room, some more rooms, a larger room for maybe the main housekeeper at the end, and another bathroom on that side. So a lot of private, secluded space has been included in the design of this build, which is great. Now we move on to the second level, where the master chamber suite is, as well as all of the other primary family members' rooms will be. So starting in the front entryway, we can make our way up the stairs to the left or the right to the grand balcony, which looks on below. Now off to the left-hand side here, we're just going to call it the left wing. The first door that you'll find actually goes into a servant area where I've incorporated in here a laundry room for easy access while playing the game, because otherwise you're going way down into the basement to do laundry, and that just doesn't work in this day and age on a build this big. Also back here is the stairwell that goes up to the third level for the servants, only accessible through here, and you can go downstairs to the lower level, as well as you can sneak back into the back area for cleaning purposes and easy access to the guest suites that are back there. Now also on this side, I've incorporated a playroom into an anteroom. That off of that is a washroom here, and then off of all of that is the dressing room, which is attached to what was just labeled as a chamber room. I've made it a little girl's room for this build. Attached to that is its own private washroom, and also access to the balcony above the porch below. And now directly across from this room, you will find the nursery. That room also has a door out to the balcony, as well as its own private washroom, which is for the nursery only, although there is a door that goes from it into the adjoining room, which is actually labeled as a governess room. So that room there, it also actually has its own washroom back here for them. And then we are going to make our way over to the other side. Now this is the whole master wing over here. So we're going to start off, this is the master sitting room here. There's some closets attached to that. And then from there, there's going to be a hallway down where you can access a washroom right there. And then you're going to, from that room, move over into the dressing room for the master bedroom. That is attached to the master, the doorway through here. And in here is the master bedroom. And it also has its own private ensuite that is there. Across the hall, we're going to go into what I'm calling the mistress's room. So there is a room here, which you can access into a little ante room, which is where you can access the washroom for that room, as well as the room next to it, which is the sitting room for this area. From there, you can also access the hallway, as well as the room adjacent to it, which is another chamber room for, I'm guessing, another mistress. Off to that is a little closet space in here, which you can access from this little ante room above it. And then from there, you can enter the private washroom for that chamber room. Now we've made our way into the back section of the second floor where the art gallery is and the guest chamber rooms. So access from the stairs to this ante room here, which you can get to this back corridor for the guest rooms that are on this side. Each room has a washroom here. Now the one at the very end, I have made a bedroom, although the plans have called it a dressing room, so it does not have a bathroom attached for that reason. So technically on this side of the home, you are supposed to be able to access the balcony that is over this covered porch area, but I've left that out for this design. Now, if you come back down the hallway and back into the ante room, you can go straight and enter in the art gallery here. A very large space for the vast art collection that they had. Now, off to the right side here is another hallway back to more chamber rooms with private washrooms. They all have washrooms accessible to them. Very important in this build for guests to be comfortable during their stay. So I should mention in this build, there are 30 bathrooms. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate to the existing building, but it sure is close. Now, from the art gallery, you can go back into another art gallery that is above the walkway drive pass through underneath here. And from there, you enter into the Van Dyke Gallery, which is at the back here. In there is also incorporated a powder room for guests, as well as there are stairs which you can go down and access the pool area from. So the owners could go through their fancy galleries and then down the stairs into their pool without going outside, which is quite a fancy detail. Now we're going to pan over to the main floor of the home. You're going to enter through these steps up here into a vestibule, which is going to enter into the grand hall of the home. There is a curved wall feature in here, which is very nice. Now the only thing that isn't accurate is these steps going up and down. Now in the original plan, you just go back and down a few steps. Now we can't do the split level in here very easily, so I did not incorporate that in this design, unfortunately. So the stairs are really wacky in this plan, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Now down to the left side here, the first door goes into the stairwell for the servants. So they can get upstairs and downstairs without being seen. From here, they can actually also access a hallway to the back to get down to the back. Now off to this other side is a hall that goes into the pantry room for staff, as well as beside that is a safe room, and then another room to house more cutlery or dishes, things like that. And I should mention the safe room would be for fine silverware, things that would be most likely stolen by sneaky staff members or whoever. And off to the left of all of that is going to be the breakfast room. That room would just be for the household members only. And then from there, you can go down into sort of like a grand dining room where you would have your mass parties of family or guests would all eat in there. And then off to the left of that, you're going to enter into the outdoor, now indoor patio space. Now from the dining room, you can enter into the smoking room as well as you can enter from the hallway. This room is really neat because it incorporates a hidden door. I've put one on the opposite side here for a closet, just to give the symmetry of the bookcases that are in the actual room. Now, the one that's a hidden door actually does go into a washroom, which you can also access from the grand entry. Now, this was a feature of the home that I thought was really cool. Any incorporation of hidden doors in homes is just awesome to me. Now, going from the grand hall or the side hallway, you can get into the reception room of this home. Beautiful room to greet your guests that are coming in. Directly across from that is a room that also looks like a reception room, but it's called a gallery room. Now, from that room, you can come out and go down the hall into the grand ballroom of this home. Now, I wish I had the pack that had the invisible dance floor. I don't have that, clearly. I had to use this country-looking dance floor. Off from that is a patio room that I've incorporated a piano in. Now, this patio was also open when it was originally built, and at some point they had closed it in. Now, if we pan back over to the main entry, you can go straight up these stairs and down these stairs that I talked about earlier into the back section of the main floor, which the main corridor down the back here is going to give you entrance to the billiard room. Unfortunately, I could not put a billiard table in there as there is not one in The Sims 4 in any of the packs that I have. Now, from there, you can access the library. And then from the library, you can access the curio room, which there would be fancy trinkets and such on display in there. Now, if you continue down the hall all the way into the end, there are guest chamber rooms back here. Now, one of them has a powder room attached and the other one doesn't. So I would assume that these are probably guests that are just staying for one night. Or they're the least liked guest of the homeowner because they were not given as fancy of a setup as the other guest chambers of this home. Another cool feature about this build is the entire left side of the back wing here is dedicated to in-house staff members. So to enter in there, there's only one doorway, which is off of the main corridor near the beginning of it. So once you go in there, you can actually access the back stairwell, which I mentioned earlier can access all of the other levels without the staff being visible to the homeowners or guests. So the first room is an office in here. And then from there, you can go down the hall and enter the servant sitting room. From that, there is a washroom off to the side of it, and then off to the other side there's a little vestibule room which you can access outside, as well as you can access the room directly across it or go into it from the hall. That's going to be the footman's bedroom. Now, the room that is directly beside the footman's bedroom is the butler's bedroom. Now, these are all what is actually labeled on the plans. It is drawn as close as possible to that. So the footman and the butler do not have their own washroom, so they use a washroom that's at the back here. That's actually in the plans, and a valet office is what is off to this back side over here. Now from here, we're going to go down the hall, out the vestibule, and across the way into the pool house. So up steps here into the Turkish pool house. There's stairs here that go upstairs into the Van Dyke Gallery, and then stairs in a closet over here that go down into the basement to access the mechanicals of the pool. Off to the left, there is technically a squash court, but in The Sims, we've made it a basketball court. So it is actually sunken down, like you come into a level and then step down into the squash court. So that's a neat feature. It also has a glass roof, which is a really cool feature that the architect incorporated into this design. Now, to the opposite side of the pool, there is the change rooms. So a big main change room with two small private stalls in there. And then down a little hallway, you're going to come into the washroom area. So you'll walk into the sinks, and in that room down the back are the washroom stalls. I do not have the pack that has the doors, so just imagine them there. Off to the other side is the shower stalls. We're just pretending they have shower curtains on them, although they don't. So over here, I incorporated the chef's house into the build as well, because that is something that was on the property. It's not in this exact location, but of course, this is The Sims. The lot is only so big, so we've put it over here. Now, this is neat because this is actually true to the history of the home. The chef did live on site in this house that is here. So the chef could actually access a tunnel system that went under his home all the way to the sub-basement, which they could get up to the basement to where the kitchen was. Now to the left, there's supposed to be storage rooms, but I couldn't incorporate them in this design, sadly. So you'll see here, there's stairs going down from the main hall area into like a vestibule sort of room, which you can access a powder room from, a very large powder room, might I add. And then into like the main hall area of the basement. It's all dolled up because the actual homeowners would come down to this level. So stairs are supposed to be right there, but it wouldn't work out. What I'm circling now is the barber room. So the homeowner would come down to this level into the barber room there. To the other side is a storage room, which actually you can go back through a back little hall and access a laundry room, which I've incorporated in there. So this laundry room isn't quite accurate to the timing of the build, but for The Sims, I've included sort of a laundry room with multiple washers and dryers in here, as well as I think I put an old school one in here as well. So coming out from the storage room here, you can access this back hall, which goes into like the boiler room area, like basement type stuff area. On this other side, there is a storage room, which had another purpose in the actual drawings, but for this, I've just made it the vacuum storage room for that level, because these are the type of vacuums that just go all over the place without people using them. They're magic. So back from that over here, the stairwell. So that's the stairwell for the servants that can access all levels of the home without being seen. And then off of that room, there is the dishwasher room. And then, I don't know why I'm mousing all over this stuff still. I'm doing a voiceover video I made, and I don't know why I keep saying like all this, circling all that. Ignore all of that. But yes, going into the dishwasher room or going into the staff sort of dining room, sitting room area for the kitchen staff down there. You can also access the dishwasher room from that point and the kitchen as well. Multiple access points for that. But like your dirty dish hallway before you get into the kitchen area here. Now the kitchen area is going to have, of course, the access to the outside and also through the back here into the storage rooms for the kitchen. Now off to the one side here is like storage for all the dishes, like clean dishes and cups, plates, bowl, like all, dishes. And then going back here down in there, like more storage, like there's storage everywhere in this place. More kitchen storage. Down here is the cold storage room. So I just put a bunch of refrigerators in here, like the old school refrigerators in there, because I couldn't put obviously jumbo giant walk-in refrigerators, because that's what's actually there, I believe. And then from this room back here, you were supposed to be able to access a whole back storage system that can take you right outside here, and you're supposed to be able to enter through there for like all of deliveries and things like that for the kitchen. So of course I was telling you I wasn't able to add that because of how I did the foundation around the home. I had built this entire foundation before remembering that I needed to add that in there, and it just wasn't letting me add the rooms under there and incorporate it all in with the heights of everything. So I just sort of left it, and it's we're just going to pretend like it's there, even though it's not. So now we're going to go all the way over to the opposite side of the basement, which is going to be all of the staff bedrooms, sleeping quarters, chambers, whatever you want to call them. Now, the first room off of the main corridor here, well, we're going to go down to this room here. There's sort of like a storage room in here. And from there, you can actually access, I'm going to call it like the head, not the chef, not the butler, but some other head of household, maybe head of cleaning staff household. I don't know. They have a larger room down here. That's what was on the plans, with a washroom that's attached to it. So they would be like a higher level servant for the home. Now, the opposite side is where there's going to be a sitting room for everyone. Sorry, down the hall here, there's closets. And then this room here, I've made it a locker room. I couldn't for the life of me tell what it actually is on the plans because the plans are really hard to read. The writing is really awful, and I couldn't find a good enough one to tell me what this room actually is. So for this build, it is a locker room with lockers all along this side. Now, at the back here is the washroom. The first room is the shower room, and the next one with the toilet and sinks. That's actually how it's set up, which is kind of odd. But each of these rooms here are private, I don't want to say suites because they're not suites. They're private rooms for all of the staff members. Now, the very end of the hall, you're going to see the wine cellar. That is actually on the plans as well. It is underneath the porch, which is above it. So that room, which is in a really odd spot. But anyway, going in the back basement here, I incorporated some garbage cans because there's a door right here where they can access. So I put like the recycling and garbage and all that stuff there. There are washrooms on the plan down here, so I just put them in as well. I would assume for the out-of-house staff coming to do deliveries, they could use those maybe. So in here, I just put a bunch of water heaters because I'm sure there's a ton going on in here. There's more mechanical rooms at the back, electrical rooms, that sort of thing, all in this back area. There's also other rooms that were in here, like 2 or 3 other rooms, but I didn't put them in because I didn't know what they were. I couldn't read the plans. They were so hard. Anyways, back into the basement of the pool area. So you can access stairs that go down into the sub basement from this level. Also, back in the other area, I forgot to say, there's also another stairwell down in that level. So this is giving you the basement level, the access to the mechanicals and whatnot of the pool. And you can also see the squash/basketball court from this view as well. So we're going to scoot over to the chef's house. Now you'll notice that it is the main floor of the chef's house because the other level that's the main level for the home is elevated up, and the main level of the chef's house is on grade. So coming in, there's a pass-through that I put into the kitchen and also a powder room right off the front door. From the kitchen, you can come down a hall, downstairs, upstairs, and then sort of a wraparound living room there. Now, this is the sub-basement. So you can access the stairs here from the stairwell area for the servants. I just made it super basic basement. So this is all of the tunnel system because there is an actual tunnel system there. I thought it was super cool to incorporate that. Now, this is just going underneath the pool area, which I didn't put anything down there, but like if you really want, you can put a movie theater down there. You could do whatever in the actual game if you wanted to. So over here, I did incorporate a safe room because I thought like a house of this stature, there's got to be another area where they have a massive safe for money or jewels or, whatever. So I've put that in there, a multiple access door safe. So I thought that was a really cool thing to build down there. Also the back hall, it shows you, the back hall, not the tunnels. It shows you the tunnel system going from the chef's house here. Here's me just circling again this area where you could put like anything you want down in that spot. So, yep, going down the back tunnel area here to the basement level of the chef's house. Now, I did have to do stairs going up into it here, as you can see, and that goes into sort of a back little storage room in the home that he can access and put all of his work stuff down in there before he goes into his main house in there, which you can see a sunken rec room, living room style, and up the stairs into where the dining room is. I've put it down there because there was no space for it upstairs and because I needed to fill that space with something. So on the actual drawings, I couldn't find anywhere that showed what the chef's house looked like inside, so I've made that all up. That's all what's in my brain. So from here, we're going to see a quick little video of the homeowner who's not in a good mood coming in to light a fire that I've asked him to light, just so you could see him use the hidden door in the wall there to go into the washroom. Super cool feature in the actual build of this place. Don't forget to check out the actual Lynnewood Hall by going to its website or checking out other YouTube videos about it, because I think it's a really cool building.